Hi, everybody. It's Kimberly. I'm an eternal life student, which simply means human. At the end of the day, that really is the only title that we need. I think people are like walking books, a living library. We each have our own stories to share, and by sharing together, we can grow stronger. Today, I have a special guest who's going to share some of his stories. We are going to be talking to Siddharth Rana, and he's going to talk about the Mindverse and simulation hypothesis. Hi, Siddharth. How are you doing?
Hello, ma'am. How are you? I'm doing great. I'm doing just fine. How are you
Oh,
doing?
good. I am doing great as well. Thanks again for coming
Yeah.
back. This is actually your second time with us. I know we have
Yes,
a
this
lot of
is, yeah.
information. So I'm very
I'm glad
happy
to
that,
be here again.
oh, perfect. Well, I
Yes.
can't wait to go into this next topic. I think it's very fascinating. And I'm
Mm.
sure a lot of other people have thought similar things. So let's get their minds thinking, and we'll go over some of the different things. Again, the topic is Mindverse simulation hypothesis, right?
Yes.
So before
Yes.
we get into that, we touched a little bit about multiverse. Can you explain multiverse? Just like a little quick version of it?
Okay. So I'm not gonna go in like very deep of multiverse because that's a whole new podcast.
Yes.
And so basically, multiverse is it relies on basically your future possibilities. Well, the whole multiverse thing it arises from the quantum mechanic world. But to give you a basic picture, multiverse it basically maps out the possibilities to arrive in the future. So basically, there is only one future because you can only be at one position at a space and time. And to arrive at that particular space and time, you can and there are multiple ways to arrive at that point in space and time. So and these multiple ways to arrive at that particular point, it basically maps out to different universes and thus multiverse.
Okay, perfect. Thank you
That's
for
a
that.
little, yeah.
So, my question for you then is, what is Mindverse?
So this mind worth is my theory, not a theory, but a kind of a hypothesis that I
Okay.
came in my mind, and it's like pretty old. It's around like 3 or 4 years back when I was in my school, and
Okay.
I was just having a conversation with my friend, and during my conversation, I said something that ignited that thought in my mind. So the conversation was like, what if whatever world you are perceiving is not actually this world, but
Mhm.
a world that is existing in your universe. Basically,
Okay.
whatever you are seeing and whatever you are perceiving is your universe, and whatever I'm seeing from my perspective is actually my universe. So basically, if like we are talking right now, we are talking in like through this digital medium through Zoom, and
Yep.
right now you are in actually in your universe,
Hmm.
and right now I'm in my own universe. So and both of our universes are sort of colliding with each other. They're intersecting at one point, and that
Okay.
intersection gives us this conversation, particularly in this space and time. So that's basically my
Very
so basically the
interesting.
whole idea of a multiverse, this whole idea of mind versus it basically is some another approach to understand this multiverse concept.
Mhm.
Basically every individual has its own universe, and those universes are basically being projected by only that in particular individual. So
Oh,
right now
wow.
I'm projecting my universe, and
Hmm.
like how you are projecting your universe as well. So that's basically
Yes.
like we are all sort of living in our different universes, own universes.
No, no, and it makes complete sense when you really start to dig deep into it. Every
Yeah.
person has their own perspective based on what they've lived,
Mhm.
right? We're all in the same
Yeah.
area. We're
Yes.
all on Earth, right? Um, I can
Yeah.
even have
Yeah.
someone in the same house with the same family and things like that, but we each lived something different based off of our experiences, and that becomes your
Yeah. It's
universe,
basically
like you said.
our Yeah, exactly. It's like our perspective is giving rise to the universe. It's basically, uh, you know, enlarging and expanding our universe. It's only our perspective. When we have perspective, the universe, gets expanded at that moment. Our perspective equals to universe.
So if two people end up with the same perspective, is this way that they start to connect their thoughts or their universes?
Uh, I would say no, because it's not possible. Like, realistically speaking,
Hmm.
practically speaking, it's not very much likely that people would gonna have same exact perspective. They should be going to have some minute difference, and that particular minute difference would separate their two universe apart from each other. So it's very unlikely to for two individuals having exact same perspective. So it's in this whole universe, nothing is exact, everything is close to exact, and the more close we reach to that exact limit, the more
Right.
close we reach to the truth, and that is how we define the truth. Our truth is not ultimate to truth, it's just a perception that we are closer to truth, and that is how we define like a truth. A truth is only local, it's not entirely universal truth. There is no such thing as universal truth.
True.
So yeah.
So, okay, let me throw this at you. Everybody has different ages, right? And it's almost like the universe and the stars, they're all different ages and they've gone through different things. So, is it similar in that way where each person, based off of their age, has the
Mhm.
different knowledge, the different experience, the different perspectives, and things like that? So, passing it on to other people is how they may make theirs stronger.
uh, so I would have this take on like the following take on this thing.
Sure.
The universe already exists out there. It's just the experience of an individual that that basically makes that individual closer to that like whole universe. Like, the universe is actually out there, and our experience is only limited. So we cannot perceive the whole universe with a limited experience. So, like, the more we learn, the more we explore the universe. So it's like basically the learning factor. The more we learn, the more the more into the future we go, the more experienced we become, and the more we would learn about the universe, the more we would have that universe. Okay, universe is enlarging in the, like, the more things we want to learn in the future. So in the
Okay.
future, everything is existing out there. The universe is actually existing in the future out there somewhere, but it's us who are yet to witness that future in the future of the
Right.
universe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So one of the things that you had brought up for was something along the lines of, I guess the Matrix idea. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you want to explain that a little bit further?
So this Matrix idea emerged from the movie Enter the Matrix. Even though I haven't seen that movie entirely by myself, I've just seen the some couple of parts, some of the reels on the shorts, the YouTube shorts. But I know the entire story of the Enter the Matrix, and that is the like new story about this the internet growing thing.
Hmm.
We can still know the whole plot of any movie without actually watching the whole movie, because the whole movie is actually in terms of short, it's actually out there in the internet. So yeah, that's a different thing. But again, uh, I got to know about this Enter the Matrix from the shorts only. So so basically it basically presents an idea that the decision that we are making right now, that we are making in our life, is not
Hmm.
actually our conscious decision. They're actually our predefined decision. It's like how you build an AI from some set of programmed instructions, and
Okay.
on the basis of those pre-programmed instruction, those AI behave a certain way. So maybe we humans are only an AI. We are just behaving certain way. We are just behaving like we are programmed. So
Hmm.
basically, our mind is actually programmed by some other eternal or some ultimate being out there somewhere,
Right.
and uh, basically we are only behaving on the basis of what we are programmed in. So it's basically our programmed here, and we are just behaving in a limited way, like an AI do, like the right chat GPT and AI like that perform in our real world. So basically, we are the future and most advanced version of AI. So Yeah, that's a little scary part for me.
So I've heard a
I
couple
mean, yes,
different things.
yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, yeah. So like
So,
that's my question.
mhm,
Like right now we the AI is now like emerging.
mhm.
So what do you think? What is your biggest fear about? What is your biggest fear? What is your biggest concern about AI? Like the AI is on a boom right now.
I the information it does not know and the
Yeah.
emotion that
Mm,
it doesn't have.
mm,
That is what's more scary
yeah.
because
Oh.
we rely on it to know more than us, right? But at the same token,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
we're the ones that are programming it. So even though it can
Mm,
gather more information, um, what if it gives us the wrong thing and we don't know?
mm. Basically our future depends on AI right now. Like
Right.
the nowadays scenario, our whole future, our fate, almost our fate is getting is relying on the future on the AI itself. Like
Yeah.
we basically program or we basically live a future life on the basis of what AI, like on the basis of AI. We are
Yes.
relying on AI. We are depending upon AI.
Yes. I think
And
sometimes,
the thing that I scare, yeah, sure,
yeah.
sure.
No, I was gonna say the thing is
Yeah,
sometimes
sure, sure.
people they don't want the responsibility. So it's easy to give it to AI, right?
Yeah, it's easy. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So what are you
Mm.
afraid
It's not that. So my biggest fear, my biggest concern about AI is not actually AI,
of? Hmm.
but since AI nowadays it's emerging and at a very fantastic rate.
Yes.
So I fear the most is like what if in the future AI would have become so advanced, so futuristic that it would be impossible to differentiate between an AI and a human.
Yeah.
So basically, you put AI here and you put human here, and they would have like it would have no way to differentiate between these two. They would
True.
all look same. They would all behave in the same way in the future. So if that's so, the actual scary part is not that even right. The actual scary part is that if that's so, if they would have no differentiation between an AI and a human,
Hmm.
what if we humans are the current we human at the like this current moment, we are only those future and advanced AI, and
Okay.
they would have and basically we have no point to prove that we are not an AI. Like we cannot prove that we are not an AI. Even if we are saying that okay, I am talking and I am living my life, I'm conscious basically. So
Right.
basically, it's not a point to say that I'm not an AI. Like it's kind of a
No, it's
scary part for me because
interesting.
yeah.
It's very interesting when you really start to think about it. You're like, how do you prove you're alive? You have feelings, right?
Yeah,
You can touch your fingers, you think you see things, but how do you know that that's real?
yeah,
It's not in your mind that you're not programming it.
mm,
Just like they say, your thoughts,
mm,
you
yeah,
control your thoughts. So how do you
exactly.
know you're not making yourself feel like that, right?
Mm. Yes, but what if all of your conscious decision that you think that it's your decision? What if
Hmm.
those all decision are only a programmed, only a set of predefined program that were fed into your memory? So it's
Yes.
like only you. It's so we actually have no free will. The concept of free will doesn't there would have no way that I could just reject this meeting
Mhm. Yeah.
because this point yeah, because that this point was supposed to happen, like we are supposed to doing this podcast, but and that's how we ended up here.
Yeah.
So what
No,
if these all decisions were not in my hand, but they are just some eternal being out there, some actual human being out there who are just programming this decision onto us into our memory.
it's true. A lot of people are saying,
uh,
things happen for a reason or it's too coincidental, like everything starts to connect. So you wonder, like,
yeah,
did you have anything to do with this or why is this happening? Because it fits too perfectly. It doesn't make any sense, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
exactly, yeah, yeah.
So one of the things that I saw was for psychology, right? They tell you that
Mm-hmm.
most of who you are It's similar to like AI and being programmed. You're programmed by how you were raised,
mm,
how you were brought up, all those experiences,
yeah,
all of those things.
mm,
So if you
mm,
go that direction, you're like, okay, this happened and
mm,
this is why I act like this. But then there's a completely different
yeah,
side. Like you said, the completely different side is some
mm,
of it happens that makes no sense. And how
no
did it happen?
sense.
Right? Like
Mm,
you
mm.
you you
Yeah, we have no
you
reason. Yeah,
right, exactly. So
yeah.
um
Mm,
so what are some other things that you think uh could show that something else might be in charge of programming what we do?
mm. See, for sure, I believe that like there is no universal truth out there, and we are just following a truth that is not even like that could be not a truth, but just a lie, but still we believe it as a truth. For example, this I'm wearing this t-shirt, and this is of yellow color. I guess yeah, it's a yellow color.
Right?
What if what if from the moment I I've been born on this planet, and if I was raised in a certain manner that I was I was made to be believe that this is not yellow, this is color red, and
Yes.
throughout my life I would believe that this is not yellow, this is red. And if
Hmm.
someone says me that, if someone asks me that this is not red, this is actually yellow, but that's yellow for you because that is how you were raised, and that is how I was raised.
Mm-hmm.
So I was raised that's how. So basically, it's not yellow; it's basically red. So
Yes.
so it's basically two different sides of same thing, and there is no same thing. There's different perspective, and that is how I came up with sort of different universes. So in my universe, this color maybe this color is actually red, and maybe in some your universe this is yellow, and that is how we are
Yes.
interacting, and that is how sometimes our thought does not get matched up, and they just go separate apart. So there
Yes.
is no ultimate truth. There is no common truth. There's just it may be truth for you, but not for me, and it may be truth for me, not for you. So that's
Exactly.
the perspective.
No, and
Yeah.
and I was thinking of something similar to this of like people try to make
Mm.
something final, right? We learn
Mm.
things from history in the past, and we've been studying it in school and learning, but how do we know that it's right, or how do we make it it could have changed based off of the different years that have happened and the different growths that have occurred. But if we're still learning
Yeah.
old information, we still
Mhm.
hold it so true. So
Mm.
that's what's interesting to see.
Yeah. You know what? Most of the people, they define truth in a way that if majority of the people are accepting that as a truth, that becomes a truth. Basically, if
Yeah.
majority of the people are accepting a certain behavior, a certain act, that act becomes a truth because majority of the people are following that act. But if
Hmm.
only a certain few member are following any certain act, it becomes already a lie. It's not even a truth. It's a total lie because these group right here, it's very small. This is not significant, but out there the majority of the people, they're believing in a certain act, and that is how that act becomes the truth. So
Yes.
again, there is no ultimate truth. There is it's just the amount of people follow a certain act, believe in a certain act that gives rise to truth or a lie. Basically, good is not bad and a bad is not good. Similarly, a truth is not a lie and a lie is not a truth. So yeah, that's how these things go away. Yeah,
Yeah, no, and I think one of the biggest things I myself am even trying to show is when you learn to see both sides, that's how you grow.
yeah,
That's how you can learn to say,
exactly.
okay,
So
right?
that is how like we people should have empathy right now. I feel like in the world nowadays, people don't have empathy towards each other much. They are sympathetic, but they are not empathetic. They have
Right.
to have their other side as well. If
Yes.
there's an act going in front of me and I only judge that whole act on the basis of only one perspective, then that act does not become wrong. It's my perspective that is not enough to judge that whole act. So
Sure.
to to be able to have a position to judge that whole act, we should must have two perspective.
Exactly.
So yeah, that is what limited.
Yeah,
We cannot
and
just
that's
judge a whole thing without limit.
yes. And I think part of that for
Exactly.
empathy, in order for you to empathize, you have to have experienced it. So some people don't experience it, so
Yeah.
they can only judge based off
Hmm.
of what they have knowledge of, right? Um,
Yeah. So either you say that okay, this is right, or either say I'm not in a position to say that it is right. So you just
exactly.
accept the fact, you just address the fact that I don't know. I'm not capable enough to
Hmm.
just judge that. Right now, people without gaining that certain amount of experience, they just judge the whole act. So
Yes.
just say that, just address the fact that I'm not in a, I'm not capable enough to judge that whole act. I don't know, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think people like to admit
Yeah.
they don't know. That's the problem. So, getting people comfortable
Yeah.
with
I think
realizing that part. So,
I think I'm becoming a little harsh today.
oh yeah,
I'm just, so I'm going
it's
with the flow.
okay.
So sorry for the people out there. So if I was just getting offended, so that's
No,
how
no,
I
no.
am. But you should get offended because that is what we should believe. There is no
Yes.
only one side out there. There are multiple sides.
Yes.
So or in order to explore those all multiple sides, you must be experienced enough in order to just say something about that particular act. So just
Yes.
saying it. Yeah.
No, and I think one of the things they say is like great philosophers or people who really are trying to understand purposely try to
Mhm.
learn the opposite of what they believe because then they can truly understand all sides of it. And that's even what this discussion is about. We're talking about thinking of the unknown, thinking of something we can't 100% prove, but we can't prove that it's not right either, right? Just like AI, the
Mhm.
mind verse, things like that. People will say, why are you talking about
Mhm.
this? But it's the fact
Yeah.
that we have to talk about this because what if
Mhm.
it is possible? And by looking
Yeah.
into that, you learn other things that you can start to research and start to grow. Um, you ever have,
Hmm.
okay, I'll give you an example. Before anything is created, it doesn't exist, right? So
Hmm.
people have to come up with that thought somehow, and it's usually by thinking of something they've never seen before, right? So it's the same idea of trying to create something that never existed. And then one day they can show you now it does. And it's those pioneers that go out
Hmm.
there to create such ideas that are what's pushing us toward the
Yeah.
future, right?
Hmm. For sure, there is a freedom of speech out there, so people just can say anything they
Yeah.
want to.
Yes.
So again, so like the moment when nothing was there, like
Hmm.
nothing. So if actually nothing was there, so how could I just put some words out there to define that nothing? Like
Yes.
we should question ourselves that if before and everything and anything was created, before that there was not even a concept of before, because before arises only after when something was created. if
Hmm.
if anything wasn't there at the very first place, so how could there be any before? So
Hmm.
it's like I'll give you an analogy that most scientists use in this particular term. So if I want to go north and ask a person, okay, can you show me the direction to north? So he just pointed me, okay, just you have to go straight. So if I
Okay.
just keep on going straight, and once I reach at the north pole, and there is no there is no more north. So if I ask some fellow, okay, can you show me the north?
Right.
So he'll be like, that question does not make sense. You are on the north. There is no
Yes.
more north to it. So it's like kind of similar like that. So if like Big Bang, the creation of the
Hmm.
universe, the creation of everything. So people are like, what's before Big Bang? What happened before Big Bang?
Yes.
There was
It,
no concept of before, because Big Bang gave rise to everything. yeah, again, there could
Yes.
be, multiverse, there could be some bubbles of the universe, some different
Hmm.
universe, some different realities. But again, that's just, hypothesis. There's just some theory. There's no uh, proven fact, and there is no
Yes.
fact either. The universe is just, out there lying under the limelight, and just we are being exposed with our thoughts to understand and contemplate this universe.
So even
Yeah.
though there was nothing before, there was always something, right? It's never empty.
I mean, see, the even the concept of empty can only arise when there is something,
You need balance,
right?
right? There has to be a
Yeah,
balance to
yeah,
it.
exactly.
You can't have just
But
one side.
exactly, yeah, that's my point. So
Yes.
if there was no side at all, so there was no balance either.
Right.
So so again, if before Big Bang nothing was there, so nothing was there.
Right.
That's period. You cannot just say
Yes.
nothing was there, and that is why something was there. So it's like
Hmm.
nothing was there. Period. Just you just stop there. Nothing was there. Okay, I'm done with
That's
it. Nothing was there. Nothing was
it.
there. Yeah.
No, exactly. And I'm finding more and more things. Um, you have to have that balance. And the more you learn how to have the
Yeah.
balance, the more you can start to go into the future. When you're looking at that one-sided,
Hmm.
you're kind of just stuck stationary, right? Like you were saying,
Yeah.
you end up in one spot.
Hmm. Yeah. Our life is like a balance between the past and the future.
Yeah.
So it's like the more we think about the past, the future, goes far ahead, and the more we think about the future, the past, past takes place all over us. So it's like we
Hmm.
have to keep a balance between the past and the future to,
Yes.
just gain more experience.
Yeah. I think
So yeah, we have to just balance between the past and the future.
you ever hear like people get stuck in the past, so they don't change, they don't move forward. They're literally just stuck in all of the things in the past. And the more you learn to move on, that's when you can start to build and go toward the future.
Yeah, yeah, I have a take on that. So there could be two types of people. Again, that's my perspective. I'm
Yeah,
not sure what people are dealing with that, stuck in the past.
yeah.
But see, there could be two types of people. One type of people that they are actually stuck in just a one event, like
Mm-hmm.
something has
Yes.
happened in the past, and due to that something happening, they are just stuck in that particular event. They cannot
Yep.
detach themselves from that particular event because that something was like not good.
Yeah.
But there are some other people who are not. They are basically in the past. They're all the time they're thinking about the past, but they're not actually stuck in the past. They are basically learning about the
Yes.
past. So if
Yes.
we had that meeting, we had our last podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm just keep thinking about that podcast, so either I would be just stuck about that podcast. Okay, I did that podcast. I did that podcast. But on the other hand, if I just think about that, and I would I would present my thought in a way that okay, I could have done that particular thing in a different manner in that
Mm-hmm.
podcast. So basically, I'm learning more. I'm learning more from that particular event in the past. I'm gaining
Yes.
more information from the past. So it's not actually being stuck in the past. It's actually learning more about the past. So the
Mm-hmm.
more we learn about the more, okay, I'm going to quote myself, the
Okay.
more we learn about the past, the more we become capable to arrive in the future.
Yes.
So,
Exactly.
to have that experience of the future, you must be capable enough of learning about your own past to
Mm-hmm.
go into your own future. So basically, you have to be capable enough to live your future. Yeah.
Yes. No, I agree with that. Definitely. Good job. So, no,
Yeah.
and that's on so many different levels, right? Whether you
Yeah.
go backwards and learn from okay, so say you were a child, right?
Mm-hmm.
You learn
We all were a
yeah,
child.
we all were children at one point in time. Some of us are still children, you know.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but let's say
Mm.
you learn how to ride a bike. Okay, let's just say. So in
Mm.
the
Okay.
beginning, when you first are learning how to ride a bike, it's difficult, right? But
Yeah.
then
Mm.
Right now, let's say you don't ride a bike for many, many years, and then you pick up a
Hmm.
bike again to go ride it. It's not as difficult because you learned the different things you had to do, right? So
Hmm.
you
Yeah,
can
yeah, exactly.
learn, you're actually always relearning. But this time
Yeah,
you're seeing it with different knowledge of what you've learned,
yeah, exactly.
right?
Yeah. So it's basically whatever you learn in the past, that all learning gets embedded right in your thought, right in your mind. Even
Yeah,
though you were like, yeah, it's been so long. I've been riding bike, but
yeah,
since those learning, because you learned riding bike in the past, that all learning was right here, embedded
yeah.
right here. And when you hop onto the bike and you just start riding the bike, it's like, okay, I'm learning, but it's not taking much time. It's not taking as long as I was taking in the past, because you already learned it. That all knowledge is right here. Knowledge
Yeah.
never get evaporated. Knowledge just get more denser and denser.
Yes, and you can build more on it. Now, not only can you
Yeah.
ride a bike, now you can teach someone else how to ride a bike. Maybe you can
Yes.
create your own style bike. Now you
Yes.
can, you can jump off a curb with your bike, do all different things.
Yeah.
Um, so that's the beauty of it, where, like you said, you can look into
Hmm.
your past and you will see it a
Hmm.
certain way. But when you start to
Hmm.
grow and learn the lessons, it can become
Hmm. Hmm.
something bigger, or you'll learn a whole new
Hmm.
thing of something you already
Hmm.
knew, right? So it's
Yeah.
something, it's
Yeah.
knowledge you already had, but now you can look at it differently.
Just like in this present moment, if I'm talking about, if I'm just wondering about my past, and I'm like, okay, there were so many things I could have done better in the past. So
Mhm.
maybe my future self is actually now wondering upon me, that
Yes,
at this particular moment I could have done so many things better.
right.
And my future self is just like, okay, the past already happened, I cannot change that, but now I'm in this moment, and there was so many way that I could change this moment without being aware of my future self thinking on me.
Yes.
So yeah, that's basically the balance, future thinking about me, and I'm
Exactly.
myself a future to the past self, and I'm thinking about my past. So that's the whole thing.
Right. And eventually it all kind of connects together into the now, but
Yeah.
you can't do that without the other. So so
Hmm.
okay, so what are some other things that you've learned I guess in the mind verse uh that you think could be something that people can kind of like practice themselves if they really wanted to get interested in learning other
Hmm.
ways of thinking.
Hmm. Like when it comes to experiencing the mind verse, I only say one thing: just close your eyes and just experience the reality. Just build your own reality inside your mind. Just create your own reality by your imagination, because your
Yes.
imagination is vivid enough to build the whole reality. Just close your mind. Just close your eyes
Yeah.
and start visualizing stuff. You can literally see with your eyes closed. You can.
So you said we should close our eyes, okay, and then what?
So it's a very first step towards visualizing your own world.
Hmm.
So I have this theory, mind was. So in that theory, I would have people to visualize this, that close your eyes and
Hmm.
visualize everything building like in front of you without even seeing that reality. You just can understand. You just can perceive all the things right in your mind. It's basically, we have five basic fundamental senses. We can see with our eyes, we can smell with our nose, we can taste with our tongue, we can this skin and the ears. So these are basically our five fundamental senses. But we don't realize that these five fundamental senses are actually existing right here in the mind. Because when you close your eyes, you're not actually allowing light to be enter in your retinas.
Hmm.
Because once you shut your eyes, you are just kind of blocking the light, but still you can see something, and
Mm-hmm.
that is your imagination. That is your imagination building those uh, information of the reality,
Okay.
and from the senses. So it's like you can imagine your own world. You can
Okay.
smell with your nose closed. You can feel the sensation of touch without even having touched, without having that touch in practical way.
Mm-hmm.
You can just do it all in your mind. But again, to experience those whole imagination, you must have experienced those everything in the real world. For example, if a
Yes.
person is by birth blind, that person cannot imagine visually.
Mm-hmm.
That's very interesting. If a person is by birth blind, he or she
Mm-hmm.
cannot experience the visuality, the visual reality.
Yeah.
He or she can only experience the reality from his or her other remaining senses. Even in his or her dream, he or
Mm-hmm.
she only can dream about smell, the noises, the touch,
Mm-hmm.
the smell, only
Yeah.
these things. He or she cannot see even in the dreams, and that is how we build our reality. With our imagination. So, like, it's like kind of our imagination is basically depending upon our senses, our fundamental senses.
No, I mean, and that's a really, if you think about it, that itself kind of shows uh your example perfectly, right? You're using your senses,
Yeah.
but only the ones that you have. But at the same token,
Mm,
each person is creating based off of their
mm,
perspective, their senses, their
yeah.
imagination,
Mm.
right?
Like, maybe there could be some senses that we are yet to discover about ourselves
Yes.
that
Yes.
have their own different world. Maybe,
Yeah.
like, it's not only our five. It's not just five fundamental senses. There are even more senses than that, and we
Yes.
are not yet aware about those more senses. And maybe
Mm-hmm.
once we start discovering those senses in the some future, the world would start to emerge in a whole new manner.
Yeah.
So
No,
it's
it's
quite fascinating to
fascinating,
even think
right?
about it. Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
So I'll throw something at you, get your opinion because I agree. There's so much, just like I was saying, there's so much we don't know and people just accept it as truth. But when we stop accepting as truth and realize there's so much more we can learn, that's how
Yeah.
we can keep growing and building. So,
Mm.
like you said, if the
There's
senses are different, just imagine what
yeah.
else is out there, right?
Mm. Yes, exactly. Like in this podcast, I mentioned that there is no ultimate truth,
Yeah.
but if there's any ultimate truth, there could be just one ultimate truth. That is the biggest fear, biggest. There is no beyond fear than that. The biggest fear is that we don't know what we don't know, and
Ah,
that is the ultimate truth, and
yes,
and ultimate truth
that's
as
a
well as
fact.
the
That's
biggest
actually
fear.
proven. They say the
Yeah,
wisest person knows they don't know everything. And
yeah,
that is the key. When you make it a
yeah,
final, then there's no room for growth, right? Because
yeah.
if you
So
if
it's
you
like you can just
finished,
say that.
then that's it, right? Once you've learned it, then there's
Yeah,
nothing else. So what else will you
yeah.
do, right?
Exactly. There's
Yes.
always a more learning factor. There should be always more learning. Like,
Yes.
if you are learning something, you cannot learn it quite enough to say
Mhm.
that I have learned it. No,
Exactly.
it's just it's need more learning. Basically, you are uh whatever you are learning is basically you are learning from your experiences, and on the basis of your limited experience, you are coming to that conclusion that, okay, I have learned it because I have only a couple of experience to understand this as a learning. There's always
Yes.
more learning, but you have to experience it in a more way.
Yes. I think that
Yeah.
kind of goes to the same thing we were talking of balance and how you have to go to the past to get to the future because that's how you're learning.
Mm,
And each thing that you
yeah.
learn after you've experienced it now gives you the
Mm,
next stepping blocks to
yeah.
go to the further.
Yeah, yeah, the learning factor only makes you capable enough to learn more. That's
Yes.
just, that's only learning. You,
Yeah.
if you're learning more, you are learning more to be capable of learning more. So just
Hmm.
learn more to learn more.
Yes. But on the opposite
Yeah.
side, this part I find fascinating. It's you're
Hmm?
not able to unlearn, right?
Yeah.
You
Hmm.
so if you want to do balance, you would say, okay, let's unlearn it. But
Hmm.
once you've learned it, it's hard not
Hmm.
to focus on those things, right? And that's where the
Hmm.
perspective, seeing it from a different perspective, can help you learn it
Hmm.
a different way. Um, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like that. The law, the fundamental law of nature, that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. So it's
Yep.
like it goes similar way. If you're
Yes.
learning something, you're not actually creating something new. You're just
Hmm.
experiencing something that has already been there. So it's only
Yes.
your experience that is gaining more information. And once
Hmm.
you gain those information by your experiences, you cannot undo that. You cannot unlearn anything.
Right.
Every learning just stays right here. Either you pass it to somebody else, you just in the
Hmm.
form of teaching, and either you just have these kind of discussions. Yeah, like we are just sharing our learnings. Like these podcasts that we do on internet, these are only sharing of learning. Like
Yes.
whatever I've learned so far, on the basis of my limited experience, I'm sharing it with you, and the same goes for
Mhm.
you as well.
Yes,
So it's like learning and learning and
exactly.
to learn more.
Yes. And that's where
Mm.
I think if we keep learning the same things over and over, we can share it, we can do the different perspectives, but until we try to do something completely new, right? That's
Mm.
where,
Mm.
just like you said, we may have other senses we don't know about, but if all we do is focus on the ones that
Yeah.
we have, how are we going to learn the
Mm.
other stuff? So right back to our
Mm.
conversation from the beginning of
Okay.
how,
Yeah.
mind verse, right? Until you can practice thinking a different way from what everyone
Mm.
is keeping as truth, we won't be able
Mm.
to become different, to learn different ways.
Yeah.
We'll just be repeating
Mm.
what we've already know, right?
Yes, yes. Like this pen right here in my hand,
Yeah.
we know only one purpose of this pen is just we used to write it down on paper and do some autograph and
Yeah.
publish some paper, things like that.
Yes.
And like we know only one purpose of this pen, but what if there are even more purposes of this pen that we are not yet aware of?
Exactly.
Like
Right.
maybe we can throw it to somebody else and like it's like basically more purpose. I can just just play it with it like a toy, and like there could be so
Right.
many purposes. It's just that yeah, we have to learn more about what we already have learned about.
Yes.
like
Right.
like
To
nothing
create.
is eternal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. And that's where the
Hmm.
creation, the idea of creating new things based off the knowledge,
Hmm.
stepping
Hmm.
out from what everybody is saying is the norm, right? Using your imagination, like you
Hmm.
said, close your eyes, think of something different. Don't be afraid
Hmm.
to
Yeah.
be different than what everybody else is doing. That's the one who's going to find the new
Hmm.
thing. If everybody's doing the same thing, nothing will change.
Hmm.
But the one who says, you know what,
you know
I'm gonna go this way, completely different, that's the one who comes up with
yeah.
something, right?
Yeah, in our dreams, most of our, like as they say, most of our innovations, inventions,
Hmm.
they those people have thought about those inventions in their dreams,
Oh,
because
really?
in the dreams, yeah, in the dreams, there is no boundary to be afraid of, and there is
Yes.
no we are able to imagine, but beyond conventional thing.
Yes. Yeah.
So just like dream, if you are just leaping out of your comfort zone and
Hmm.
the fear, you can just explore more. Like I wouldn't
Definitely.
say that don't fear. Like you should be fear about the 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 more, but
Hmm.
that should not stop you to learning more. Like it's fear,
Exactly.
the fear only injects a sort of awareness that basically tells you that the thing is existing out there, but you are not yet capable enough to face that thing right there. So first, be capable enough, be capable from your past, and that is when you would become capable enough to uh, like to fully understand, to fully grasp that future, that whole
I
learning.
really, yeah, and I like that description a lot. I myself, have contemplated or thought about similar things with people where I say, I call them life levels, where each person
Mm,
can only learn to the level in which they're ready, right? Kind of like you said, until you're
mm,
ready, you won't be able to understand it. You may have fears, you
uh,
may have
mm,
things against even the idea of it. But once you've
mm,
experienced it, you're ready now to go to the next level and try to understand it. And at that point, that's when you try to go
mm,
backwards and show others what you've
mm.
learned to see who else is ready to go to the next level, right?
Yeah, right, right, right.
So this conversation right now is an example of that. You're going to get people who are going to say, "Ah, what are you talking about? AI, Mindverse, right?" But you're
You
going to
know
get some,
the yeah, the see the
yeah.
transition. Like we firstly we talked about the Mindverse, and that Mindverse, then AI, then again Mindverse, then imagination, then life lessons, life learning, sparks, future balance. Like there's so many ups and down of not ups and down, but there's so many different perspectives that we touched in this only podcast. So I'm like, yeah, it's like it's a whole information.
No, it's wonderful. And I like the fact that people who are watching, they're going to be able to either focus on the one thing that they are interested in, or they're going to say, you know what, these are some new ideas. I want
Hmm.
to find out more. And that's what
Hmm.
we want to do. That's what this is
Yeah,
about. We're trying to show people a different way of
yeah.
thinking, and open their minds and let them
Hmm.
practice. And hopefully that's what they get from this, right?
Yeah, so it's just perspective. You just have to accept perspective, and that
Definitely.
is what makes your door open. So,
Right.
like, yeah,
So,
be capable enough to of the future.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
I'm gonna end the podcast soon, but there's just a couple things I wanted to go over with you. Okay? We'll review.
Okay.
So, like you
Yeah.
said, perspective is important. And if we go back to the beginning, we are our own universes. And by learning from
Hmm.
each other, that is us growing, right? And branching out to
Yeah.
being able to use our imaginations, to be able to learn different things.
Right.
And
Yeah.
if in fact we are, what do you call it? Simulation, AI, Matrix, or anything like that. The only
Hmm.
way that we'll be able to change is by talking to each other and learning and growing from the knowledge that we have. True?
Yeah. Even if we are even if we are say AI, like
Mm-hmm.
if we all are AI, so we cannot do anything. We just have to talk to more people to just learn about the fact that we are AI. Like maybe
Yes.
like I'm just saying that like maybe we are not AI, but maybe we are.
Right.
So like
Exactly.
either way we have to. The learning should not stop. Yeah,
Right.
that's my point. The learning should be
So
there, even if we are AI and even if we are not AI. So we have to learn more. That's it.
right. Exactly. No, and it's funny
Uh-huh.
because AI, what they do is they're gathering information to learn so that they can go forward and grow more and more and more. So whether
Yeah,
you're human, whether you're AI, it's all about learning
yeah,
and growing together, right?
exactly. Yeah.
So with that said, I'm gonna put out some information for you where I wanted people to know that you are also a writer, and you have a book. Do you have that book with you?
Actually, I don't have that book right now. It's like lying somewhere there.
That's okay. I
But yeah,
have a
it's
picture. I have a picture of it. I can put in the
okay.
comments for you. If you could let them know the name of it again.
Yeah. So the book's name is How to Explain Time Travel to Your Grandkids. It's a pretty amazing book. It's not only a book; it's an experience that you should experience. It's like a roller coaster ride. The start in the starting, you'd be more fascinating with the topic time travel and all. How like what is time travel, and then you would go on that voyage to be capable enough to understand time travel, and then at the end you would become capable enough to explain time travel to everybody else. So
See?
that's
That's
my book.
wonderful. Now you also have a newsletter that you also put out monthly, sometime soon if you're inspired, but monthly.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Beyond Cosmic Within, the name of the newsletter that I put on LinkedIn. Beyond
Perfect.
Cosmic Within. So it's like the whole cosmos is within us, but yet we have to go beyond than that. So it's like, just perspective, learnings, and understanding of the universe that I put on those newsletter articles.
Perfect. So I'll put this information in the comment section so people can take a look at it if they're interested to find out more. And
Yeah.
also you are the new content creator for Sciastro, correct?
Yes, I'm the new content writer for Sahastra. And yes, I'm just doing great.
No, that's awesome. Congratulations again for that. And
Thank you so
I am
much.
looking forward to lots of conversations with you. Like I said before, there's so much to talk about. And
Yeah,
we're
learning
only
never
touching
ends.
on a little bit, right? These are just
Yeah.
little subjects. So I expect to see you to be a frequent flyer on my podcast. For those who are interested in learning more about the universe, the cosmos, time travel. The list goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
So
I'm right here.
definitely, yeah. So definitely follow Siddharth, and you'll be able to learn a lot more from it. And in fact, if you get the book, you can teach your children and your grandchildren about it, and you all can watch it together
Mm,
and have conversations about what are their thoughts about it, and watch how it changes over time. Right?
yeah.
So I wanted to say thank you so much again for coming
Yeah.
back.
Thanks so much, ma'am.
This has been a lot of fun, and we'll have to figure out what the next topic is going to be for next time. Um, too many to
Yeah.
choose from.
No spoilers. No spoiler, but yeah, I have some different topics in my mind. Yeah. No spoiler, but
Okay,
I'm
no
not gonna spoil
spoiler
anybody.
alert.
But yeah, yeah.
So,
Topics. Yeah.
yes. So, thank you again for coming. I appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am. Mm.